And I'm going to pin him. Morning, Coach. How are you? Can you hear us? Can you hear me, Coach? Oh, I don't know if we could hear you. You might be muted.
I got you, Bill.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll start off. A couple weeks of practice now, preseason. Another season upon us here, just about. Can you give us maybe just a quick overview on how it's gone so far? Your thoughts as you head towards getting the year started next weekend.
Yeah, sure. We're nine practices in. Today will be our 10th practice, and it's been they're shortened practices because we're still limited to 4 hours of on ice, but I still think it's going to be when it's all said and done, we'll be able to have 16 practices before we play Sacred Heart on October 2nd. But it's definitely going quick. We realize that in less than 2 weeks we'll be playing our first game of the year, and we're excited to get back into the Excel Center. And we got a team that I think's, really looking forward to making a deep push towards a Hockey East championship and into the NCAA tournament.
Okay, great. We'll open it up for questions. If you want to get a question in, just use the raise your hand tool or just type in the chat, and we'll get to you. Eric Dobratz, go ahead. You're up first.
Mike, how are you? Good to see you again.
I'm great, Eric. Good to see you.
What's been the biggest challenge of the offseason for you? We've been through so many challenges the last couple of years. What has this offseason been like?
With the exception of we normally have the players back in July for a month of training and getting, especially for the new guys, getting acclimated to the school and bonding as a team. We were able to get our newcomers back here and a few of the players, but we couldn't get the whole team back here in July. And part of that was because I didn't really require it. I didn't know what the COVID protocols were going to be, and I didn't want to put the kids through what they went through last year, this summer. So that's probably been, the biggest challenge. Otherwise, I feel like it's pretty much back to normal on campus. It's nice. I grabbed a cup of coffee on campus this morning. It's nice to see the campus full again and people, out walking through the quad and just that energy back here in Stores.
Go ahead, Bob Joyce.
Hey, Mike, good to talk to you again. Give me a sense of what the transfers have brought to your program. This is kind of a first for you that you've brought in multiple transfers in a season.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Bob, congrats on being a grandfather. I'm sure that's fun for you. It's been interesting. It's not something that, we've particularly done a lot of, but I think a lot of schools are going to be in that boat. Like I was looking, Sacred Heart, who are our first opponent, they have 7 transfers. Now we have 3 kids, and 2 of them, it was really unusual because with Kevin O'Neill and with Darian Hansen, they couldn't play last year. So they reached out, they went into the portal and reached out to us a little bit saying, hey, would you have interest in me? It was almost like they were recruiting us a little bit in next year. And when we did some research on them and, I spoke to both of their coaches about them, they said nothing but great kids. And Yale doesn't let you come back for a 5th year. And I'm not sure if Union would either. So it was interesting. Like they've been committed to us for a long time. And then Jared kind of came in late in the season. We weren't expecting to lose Jan. And when that happened, we were searching for another defenseman, and Jared came about late. All 3 have brought a wealth of experience. They've played a lot of college hockey. They fit in seamlessly with our team. And I think they give us a different perspective too. I think they're able to give our players a different perspective on, hey, this is pretty cool what you guys do here. Or they've been able to come to me and say, I've asked them, what are some of the drills you did at your previous school that you liked? And so I've been able to utilize them as a resource. And I think they've been a great resource for our players as well.
And Mike, of the kids that are back, you always expect improvement in some way, shape, or form. Is there any player or two that maybe had an eye-popping moment to you, saying, "Wow, he's really taken a big leap forward," and expecting bigger things from that person or players this year?
It's still fairly early. And the hard part is, they just passed that exhibition rule. And I wish we almost could get an exhibition game in before we play Sacred Heart, because I think that's where you'll see some of that market improvement, Bob. But so far, Hudson Shandors, I think, picked up where he left off. He's been really good so far in practice. And I really like the way Jake Flynn and Carter Berger have played early on here in our early practices.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, we'll go to Mike Anthony. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Cav, how's it going?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Great, thanks. What's the goalie situation?
Yeah, so as I alluded to earlier, Darian was a 3-year starter at Union. So he's coming in with a lot of experience. Logan Turnus is a rookie this year. He was a rookie of the year in the British Columbia League 2 years ago. And he's coming in certainly as a highly touted goaltender. And then Matt Pasquale's coming back from labrum surgery. So he didn't play all last year. So in some ways, it's really wide open. Nobody's played a ton of hockey in the last year for our goaltenders. Ryan Keane he's getting labrum surgery, and he's going to be out till at least January or February. But I suspect, right now, Darian probably has the most experience of the 3 goalies we have. And if I had to pick a goaltender today, it would be him. But we still have probably another 5 or 6 practices to go before that decision is going to be made.
And offensively, Cav, you bring back a lot of your top scorers. How do you feel on that front?
On that front, I feel really good, Mike. I feel like this is the most depth we've had up front since I've been here. It's, we were talking about it in the office the other day. I'm not sure we have a 4th line. Like, I don't know who our 4th line is. I don't know who our 3rd line is. Just yesterday, and this was just yesterday, Vlad Firstov's on one line, Jakob Kondalik's on another line, Hudson Shandor's on another line, and Mark Gatcombe and Carter Turnbull are on another line. I mean, they're all really good players. So it's something that I think could be the strength of our team this year.
Thanks, Kev.
We'll go to Adam from ESPN Radio.
Thank you very much, Bill. Mike, we're going to be talking to Roman Kinal in a little bit. So obviously with everything he's been through, and just one more step for him to make in his career where he's taking over as a captain, what kind of conversations have you had with him going into this year?
I was out recruiting this summer out in Detroit area and got to sit down and have lunch with Roman. And, he's really on a trajectory that I thought, like a Wyatt Newpower was on. Both struggled their freshman year. Both struggled in the classroom and on the ice. And then Roman had that devastating injury. I mean, we're really, really lucky with that blood clot that we caught when we did. And he missed a whole year. But they went through a lot of adversity. And not only have they got Roman excelled in the classroom, he's really earned a lot of respect from our players last year, being elected a captain this year. And I think, he's poised to have just a breakout year for us on defense, just being that shutdown defender who can kill penalties and give you quality minutes night in, night out to help us be successful.
And then you talk about recruiting. So you're back out on the trail and able to do stuff in person. Was it like getting back on a bicycle to kind of relearn some of that after so much virtual stuff?
That's interesting. I remember the first time I went out to watch games, it had been a long time. So it wasn't like you forget how to watch games and evaluate players. It was just, you weren't used to doing it. So I'm going out though, tomorrow. There's a big tournament out in Pittsburgh, and there'll be a ton of coaches out there watching the USHL showcase. So it is good to get back out. I will say that.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, Jerry, go ahead, buddy.
Par for the course, Jerry.
Okay,
There you go. Go ahead, buddy.
okay. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm great, Jerry. How are you?
Hanging in there, doing okay. You're taking a look ahead to the season. You were talked about some of the changes in the conference and playoff, and you were an advocate of it. Is that a big thing too for the team to be able to really get to Boston and advance in the playoffs this year?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jerry, the change in the conference.
Yeah, the conference with the playoff schedule being
Oh, yeah.
and
No,
you've been a big advocate of that.
yeah, I think it's, you know, and I think you're going to see a lot of other conferences going to it as well. You know, it's mirrors what our national tournament is. And I think you've seen the success that college basketball has had with their league playoffs being a single elimination type playoff. It adds so much excitement to it. And sometimes, you know, the one thing I really like about it is if you have a really strong regular season and you put yourself in contention for the national tournament, one upset isn't going to knock you out of the national tournament. That one loss won't hurt you. So, but at the same token, I think it just brings, more importantly, so much excitement to the tournament where anybody can have a night and go on a run and win it. You saw UConn basketball do it when they won the national title with Kemba Walker. They just went on a run and just carried that right through. And that's the type of momentum you need to win national tournaments. And that's one of the reasons why I was a proponent of it, but more so because I think it drives more interest.
That's good. Do you also think this watching some of your players not get drafted in the NHL draft will drive them more this year? And were you surprised by so few guys being drafted in college hockey? There's only 5 total kids who were drafted this past summer.
5?
5. That was it.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. Now I think that there were a lot of kids going into college that were drafted. That might have just been 5 current college players, but I think there were
Correct.
a lot of
That's
players,
what I was meaning. Correct.
yeah, going into college that were drafted. And you know, listen, when you get drafted, that just means the work begins. You know, I was looking at a stat because we have a mentor night tonight, so I got a bunch of, you know, former athletes, a former businessman coming to educate our kids on life after hockey. And there was a great article about, you know, a player saying a guy making $1 million is taking home almost less than 400,000 after escrows and taxes and paying your agent. And it's sticker shock when you go to a place like Seattle or you go to a place like LA or New York and you're trying to find housing.
Exactly.
And it's like nobody, but also their careers are only, the average career is 5 or 6 years as well. So yeah, you make a lot of money for 5 or 6 years, but it's certainly not enough to live the rest of your life on. And you're going to have to go out and find a career. So it really just means that the work begins, Jerry. And the NHL is a great goal, but it shouldn't be the sole focus while you're coming to college. I think it's to get that degree and to grow as a human being and prepare yourself for whatever's next after college.
Right. Thank you very much, Coach.
Let's go to Joe Zone. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you. Hi, Coach. Good to see you again.
I can't see you, Joe, but
I know, you know. Back to the recruiting. Have you noticed any COVID impact on either the development, the skill level, or the amount of players out there now?
not yet. You know, I haven't seen enough of the hockey this year yet. I think the COVID impact is how many transfers there were, and that coupled with the NCAA changing the one-time transfer rule. But I think you're going to see more and more, and I don't know how that's going to work. That's going to be an interesting dynamic I am sure there's going to be some teams where that upsets the chemistry of the team. You know, it's so I think that's the biggest COVID impact probably. You know, where kids couldn't go back to their school and they have an extra year of eligibility, or some kids wanting to go somewhere else for another year. That's going to be the biggest COVID impact. I don't think recruiting wise, like who we're recruiting to come in next year as freshmen, I don't think COVID's going to affect that a whole lot.
Thank you.
Sure.
We'll go back to Bob Joyce.
Yeah, Mike, what about the freshmen? Is there one or two guys that you expect big things from this season? Or with the depth that you have up front, you can kind of ease them in?
Yeah, well, with, I mean, Chase Bradley and Sasha Teleguin are certainly two highly touted players that I think have the potential to be good, long-term players for us here. I think, Logan Turnus in goal certainly has the potential to be a pretty good player for us. And then we don't have many on defense. Bringing in Aiden Metcalf this year, who has a chance. He's a big, strong kid, has a chance, and a local kid, Jake Vayu, who has the ability to play both forward and defense. He's pretty versatile. But this year, Bob, we have a pretty experienced veteran team, and I do believe that those freshmen will be able to help us in time. But the nice thing is we're not going to have to rely on them early.
Right. All the guys that you mentioned, the one that you didn't mention was Johnny Evans. And of course, we all know the year he had last season. Where can he take his game to now next? Because you're always going to push the envelope to take him to another level. What's his next level? What's his next gear?
Well, he led the league in scoring last year, and he was a second team All-American, but I think it's just more every single night being a threat offensively and certainly defensively. One of the things that Johnny doesn't get enough credit for is his defensive play. He's an excellent penalty killer. He's really smart in our own zone and does a lot of little things that people don't see in the defensive zone, having his stick in great position, because those things lead to the transition. So we're expecting him to be a leader here on this team. And as I said, an offensive threat every single night.
Let's go to Noam. Noam, you there? Yep.
Yeah. Hey, coach. So I know for me as a student, it's definitely been a bit of a transition, like getting back to in-person classes all the time, trying to manage time and whatnot. So how has it been for you as a coach, and how are you seeing fatigue maybe as an impact on your players, and just sort of working out logistics of kids having to go to class and be all around campus and then come to practice?
I think it's actually been better. A lot of my players have said they've enjoyed being able to go back into the classroom. It's been better for them. I think it's a lot tougher sitting around your dorm room all day, being online, taking classes. I think they enjoy getting out and going to class, and it's more sense of normalcy for them. For us as a staff, we were somewhat fortunate from the standpoint of we came into work every day last year. Now it was different, certainly with being tested as much as we were and all the real strict protocols. But, there's youth hockey back in the rink, and it just seems a lot more normal this year, certainly, than it has in years past. Well, not years past, last year.
Okay, let's go to Eric Dobratz again.
Mike, I just wanted to ask about Nick Capone and his offseason, what you wanted him to work on and improve upon this year.
I wanted, it's funny, I had Nick in here the other day. He's a really good player and does so many things well that I think can translate to the next level as well. But I want him to be more of a factor in games night in and night out. I want him to play that power forward game that, Tom Wilson plays without obviously the antics and the penalties, but being that type of guy that, Nick can bring that fear factor into a game and that intimidation factor. And I'd like to see him do that with the same type of being more involved offensively. Like Nick's a guy I want averaging 3 or 4 shots on net a game. And I think he's capable of that.
Let's go back to Jerry. Go ahead, Jerry.
Okay, how's that sounding, Coach?
Got ya.
Okay, good. You take a look at last year, you lost Jan Kuznetsov to Calgary, but you had Thomas Tomas going to Nashville in the NHL. Was one more expected than the other?
Yeah, well, we were expected to lose Tomas. I had told him that if they want to give you an NHL contract, you have to take it, regardless to me of that's showing that they really believe in you as a goaltender. They only offer 5 or 6 NHL contracts to goalies in a system. And if you're going to get one of those, they believe that you can play. So I think you got to take that. That's part of our job as well, preparing them for that. So I was happy for him. I was in the same token, Jan, I thought, surprised me. I don't think it would have hurt him to come back for another year, but nonetheless, he wanted to make that jump, and I'll fully support him and wish him nothing but the best. He was a great student here, very respectful, coachable, played hard. So I'm wishing him nothing but the best in Calgary.
Very good. And being back at the XL Center, a little different for you playing wise?
Well, we haven't been back yet. We'll practice there on October 1st, but certainly looking forward to getting back into it. And we wanted to definitely get a practice in there because not only have our freshmen not played there, our sophomores haven't either. So we wanted to acclimate them to the rink as well.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Sure.
Go back to Mike Anthony.
Dab, I know this isn't relevant to this year's team, but how's that new rink looking? You're not sitting too far from the construction site. Any updates from peeking through the fence at what's going on over there?
Yeah, it's great. You can, about once a week, I walk across and get to the top of the hill there that overlooks the rink, and you can look right in and just seeing you can finally now see the formation of it. They're laying all of the foundation, so you can see where the weight room's going to be and where the club room's going to be and the locker rooms. So it's exciting. And it's certainly something that I got to give, our board of trustees and the chairman of the board, Dan Toscano, and David Benedict, and all the people who made this happen, the credit, because it's certainly going to elevate, bring us to a point, I believe, in the recruiting process where we're going to be on level ground now with a lot of other teams in our conference. And have a resource too, Mike, have a resource for our players to really become the best player that they can be.
It's already a major point of discussion, I'm sure, with recruits, right?
It is. And we've already seen some of the benefits of it, or, we've had some success on the recruiting trail with a couple kids that we probably wouldn't have got a look from 3 or 4 years ago.
Thanks.
Sure.
We got time for a couple more if anyone has one. Jerry, go ahead. And then if anyone else wants to jump in.
How's that?
I got
hear me,
you, Jerry.
Coach? Okay. You take a look at some of the players you have coming in, as you mentioned earlier, having Aiden Metcalf and Dayu, which is important because he's another Connecticut prospect. What do they mean in the longer scope of UConn hockey at this point?
Yeah, well, Aiden's a kid, like I said, a big kid that skates well, and he's certainly watching him in the first 9 practices. I haven't seen him really in a game yet, which I think is going to be telling, but he's competed hard and going to give us some depth on defense and fight for a spot. And I said, Jake has a lot of versatility. He can play forward and D. And he's played pretty well here early on. So that's the type of versatility we look for. You get, a certain injury, and they're going to happen throughout the year. To be able to have someone that can slot into both those positions, I think, is pretty important.
And you talk about the new building. Have you guys reached a sponsorship deal at all as far as who will be the naming rights on the building?
Not yet. If you know of anybody, let me know.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach.
Hey, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Any more? I got time for one more, and then we can have Roman on. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll ask one more. Mike, how'd you hit him this summer?
Not enough. How about that? No, it was all right. It was a good summer. The handicap went up though. So in COVID, I played way too much. So it's gone up a little bit. So maybe give me a chance to make some money next year.
Any new tracks you would recommend to us hackers?
Geez. New ones?
Yeah, did you play any place different this year that you've never played before?
God, off the top of my head, I don't know if I did.
Okay.
I got to play Fisher's Island, which was really cool.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
That's a special place. So that was one spot. I played it too with one of my old assistants, Andrew Raycroft. So it was fun to catch
Okay.
up with him.
Good.
But that place is really cool.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks so much, Coach. We'll see you again next week. Appreciate your time.
Right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we have Roman with us here, so I'm just going to get him pinned in. Okay, Roman, thanks for a few minutes today. Assistant captain, junior defenseman. We'll start you off with just a kind of an easy one. So you've had a few weeks of practice here under your belt, preseason away. You're going to play next Saturday. How's it gone so far? How's practice been?
Practice has been great. I mean, this is the best team that I've been on, that I've seen in preseason. Our compete every day in practice is off the charts, and it's really skilled. It's a skilled group of guys too. So.
Okay, great. Let's start off with Bob Joyce from ESPN Radio. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Roman, congratulations on being named an alternate captain. What was your reaction to that when you got the approval of your teammates to be one of those guys?
Yeah, thank you very much. No, it was, it's an honor to represent a team, like UConn and an organization like that. It's an honor. But I was extremely excited. We have a team with, it's not just the four captains. I mean, everyone on our team is a leader. All our senior class are all leaders. So everyone leads every day, and it's just, I'm happy to help out as best I can.
And what improvements have you seen from your defensive core as a whole? Because it's still a pretty young, tight group. A lot of guys made some big improvements last year. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, I think, everyone came back this summer, just, improved so much in their games. Our D this year, we're looking really solid in the defensive zone, especially. So, everyone knows the systems. We have pretty much all our D are returners, except for a few guys, maybe a transfer and some freshmen. But everyone knows our systems. Everyone's pretty locked in the D zone and offensive zone. So, everyone just knows what we're doing.
Okay, let's go to Dan Connolly from the UConn blog. Dan, go ahead.
Hey, Roman, with Tomas gone, what's it like playing in front of a couple of new goaltenders? What have you seen from them?
It's exciting because we got a bunch of goalies right now that are all competing. Any of them can play, so it's good that we have that problem. So, but no, it's awesome to get to know the new guys, and we're really excited for this year to see them on the back end.
Okay, let's go over to Adam Giordino from ESPN Radio.
Roman, what is it like actually being able to get back to classes in person? Did you ever think you'd be so excited to sit in a classroom again?
Yeah, you know what? It's weird. It's kind of weird to go back. I mean, got so used to being in the apartment room all day, just going to classes online, kind of, waking up, not needing to get dressed, just wearing your pajamas to class. But, it's cool. It's nice to see people around campus. It's packed. It's busy. There's kind of that, it's kind of like that electric, in the air. So it's cool.
And with Jan heading out and starting his career professionally with the Calgary Flames, two-part question. Is he someone that you stay in touch with still? And sort of what was that last conversation before he headed out that you two had?
Yeah, absolutely. We were really tight, since he was here, and I talked to him a few times over summer. I just talked to him a few weeks ago, right before he went into rookie camp. And, I was kind of asking him questions, how's the speed, how's the pace, kind of just seeing his take pretty much. And, so he was just talking about that, and we were catching up a little bit. He's asking how the new guys are. So, I just wished him luck going into his rookie camp.
Awesome. Thanks, Roman.
Yep.
Roman, kind of piggybacking off that idea of, getting back to a sense of normalcy, the schedule is obviously much more traditional this year. And in the early part of the season, you guys have, 7 straight road games, a couple of, road trips in there with Ohio State and Maine. what is that component, how important is that to the aspect of, team building and kind of the guys kind of, not just stuff on the ice, but the stuff that maybe you didn't have as much last year?
Yeah, we definitely missed it last year, like the road trips and the overnight stays in the hotel. I mean, that's where you really bond as a team, going out to dinners and interacting that way. But it's also cool to, stay the night with a guy that, you don't hang out with much on the team. They live somewhere else. So it's cool to see that side of other people. And it's definitely going to be nice this year. We missed it.
Great. Thanks. Jerry, go ahead, buddy.
Thank you very much. Roman, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
What's the team's identity as the season starts, if there is one?
So I think we've always kind of had a little baseline identity going into each year, kind of what we expect from our team and how we want to play. And, that's just playing fast. We're a really fast team, especially our forwards. It's probably the fastest team I've seen. So just playing fast and playing hard and, just winning every little battle. So I think we kind of try to implement that every year. And, over time, you see the new guys and it kind of changes with the team and how it goes, but that's kind of what we try to start off with. And, that's just the way we play Husky hockey. That's what we call it. So.
Good. Roman, also, what's it like to see the new building going up and your feelings on the new facility as it goes up?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I pass it every day on my walk over to the rink. So I definitely see progress being made. And, over the last few years, they were always talking about it, but nothing was really set in stone. You didn't see anything being worked on. So now to see it finally being put up, it's pretty cool. So we're excited for sure.
Lastly, Roman, thank you. Is Boston the goal that you guys have privately put in your mind? You'd like to be in the conference finals?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. Is Boston on your mind as a goal for the team shooting for this season?
Yeah, definitely to go to the Garden. I mean, that's what we've been talking about all year. I know the Hockey East is there, the finals is there, and same with I think the national championship is too. So, yep, we've been talking about that all year. Just get to the Garden, and that's our goal. So we're that's our long-term goal, and we also got individual goals too. So that's going to start off with winning October 2nd for Sacred Heart and go from there. So, but yeah, long-term, we want to go to the Garden.
Great. Thank you very much, Roman. Congratulations again. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's go to Dom Amore from the Hartford Courant.
Yeah, good morning, Roman. I know you've alluded to it. You mentioned hockey and you've mentioned, what the practices have been like. There's when people come and see you play, and they haven't been able to see the games for a long time now in person. When people see you play in the first game, what are they going to take away? What do you think? What do you hope people take away from watching you guys play, at the outset?
I think they're going to be like, wow, this is the best team we've seen. So I definitely think it. I know everyone else in the locker room is excited just because this is a team it's new and we're fast and we're gritty and we're hard, but we've also bring that skill. We have a lot of forwards that can put the puck in the net. And right now we're working on systems every day. So we're all on the same page there. And, I just think fans are going to be like, wow, it's one of the best teams we've seen at UConn. So.
Great. Bob, Joyce, go ahead.
Yeah, Roman, on that, Coach talked about the depth up front this team has. You mentioned the speed and the skill that they have. I got to imagine that it has made you and the defensive core much better going up against these guys every day in practice. It's got to be something fun to watch, knowing that there's no first line, there's no fourth line, and they just come at you in waves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have this saying around our team is iron sharpens iron. And it's just every day we're going against each line is going to be a top line in hockey. So going against them every day and practicing with them, it definitely makes us better, forces us to be better. And it's just going to make going into games a lot easier.
Can you push Jakob out of the way in front?
I'm still working on that. I do other things to work on that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Go ahead again, Jerry.
Thanks very much, Bill. Appreciate it very much. Roman, you taking a look as the team is developing, as we were just mentioning about their depth that you have. What about some of the newcomers to the team? How are they looking?
You know, they it's exciting because they kind of got into the swing of things really quick, and you know, normally it's hard for people to come in and kind of learn our systems, learn our D zone, and you know, forecheck stuff like that. It takes a little bit of time, but it's been really quick. The guys are learning it. They know it right now. So, you know, we're excited. The freshmen are really looking good, and our transfers, I think, are perfect, and they fit the puzzle perfectly.
Roman, you've had to endure some perseverance the first couple of years at UConn. That comes part of hockey. Tell us a little bit from your perspective what it's been like in your overcoming your travails. Yeah,
so my sophomore year, I obviously didn't play just because of the whole blood clot thing. It was hard. It was definitely very hard. But you know, I got to watch a lot of hockey that year, and you know, I still kind of went into each game just watching, trying to take things away from each game, and you know, just keeping a positive mindset was the biggest thing for me. Just knowing that I'll be back out there. I finally got to skate a little bit towards the end of the year, so that was you know, made me feel a lot better. But last year I got hurt too a little bit with my knee, and you know, after dealing with that blood clot, it was, you know, it was nothing. It was nothing compared to that. So it was just rehabbing it, get better, and get back out in the ice. So that's what I did. But right now everything feels great. I had a great summer of training and rehabbing, and you know, I'm 100% right now.
Thanks very much, Roman. Appreciate it. Good luck this season. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, time for one more if anyone's got anything.
Yeah, Roman, how'd you spend your summer? I know you said you worked out, training stuff, but when you had some downtime, what'd you do?
Yeah, so you know, I live on a lake, and that's kind of been my thing every summer, just going out doing stuff on the lake. So not too much water skiing and stuff like that anymore. Just kind of don't want to hurt myself. So I spend it out on the pontoon. I fish a lot. I actually golfed a lot more this summer than I ever have. But yeah, kind of just being outside every day. Went hiking a few times too. So it's mainly that stuff.
Any big fish?
No, I got a few pretty big pike this northern pike this summer, but mainly just largemouth.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thanks, Roman. Appreciate a few minutes of your time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Let you hop off. If everyone wants to stick around for a second, I could fill you in on